So
we're gonna start now.
Zopa gombala zuma zopa katindra data control machewa the control with jikin also semba makewa chia to control lang yo son sata semba makeba mayon al tapshi che chose ni zu te son son.
Yes, in our previous class, we were studying, as we still are today, the chapter on patience, and we studied about the main obstacle to the practice of patience, which is anger. And more specifically, we took a look into the main causes and conditions for anger, and more specifically, even the unhappy mind that causes this becomes the food for this anger. And we were discussing also the methods not to allow our mind to become unhappy and therefore nourish this anger.
Nasvatani semba makepa the karingo resonance pol chaloni kendramanda chikayungo retela teni nabje zopatla some draw shendu dinner chimanyambi zopas asitan a channel chingo dingal chimanyamaza dingar tanlingi zopata no pala chimanyambi zopata tanda chulangi toko zopas in the kablo zopashes zopatla changa some jakandu. Tani riri nindrishi gyabjana yasar raw. Tatombo dinner tanling is opazia, and also kangar tenche on the kangar to manches a league toll leon, little toll leon the league goni, kanget the yon arita, league kanget the yon on the same market, but the mazoa taushi the teshe de or mato league, kanget leon the casan, and also two jungle muala so pata calamaza, kanela so patin the mombo jesson. Kangita so that lay on we cabla, sembat lo jagoreta, sembat lo jates on a kangita so Shatata Maris, Temani, Gangi Chonjo Leon, the Semba Makipa Shuchi on a Gangi, the lead up cheachita, Semba Kanga so Jakaris Casan Tata Chalas, Yata.
So among the causes and conditions that make our mind unhappy, that cause this unhappy mind, one of them are the sufferings of our body. So for example, as we discussed before, all the mosquitoes are not getting enough food or sicknesses, so many sufferings that harm our bodies in our daily life. And for this, there are three kinds of patience that we try to cultivate, and one of them, the first one, is being patient with sufferings, more focus also on the sufferings of body. And since the sufferings, they are bound to come, we're bound to experience discomfort with our body, we need to familiarize ourselves to keep our mind peaceful and not disturb our minds when these physical sufferings come to us.
Also, dingar tanling zopaziat, so get on the dingar tamale, Jana Rikirita Su, and so Ranchungon Seta, Natsagon Sela, Sopamujan, Gonza chicken, so Chetano Pama in Basu, really get the was.
And so this first type of patience is called the patience towards suffering. Maybe we can translate like this, and usually it can be related to every kind of suffering, but it's more focus on these natural sufferings. For example, the sufferings of the body, sickness, any suffering that is not caused by someone else, by a person that's making you suffer.
Last Tanitangan Zavajachi Mandro, Natanda Tigon, so Manchester, Dinner Tanlingus, Pandrawachi is at the no palacham, but the Jenga no patching and so some local Karatango, all my own industry, the Mandish.
And then also the second type of patience is then related to someone else that's harming us. So this anger at someone else. That's what becomes the topic of the next verses on this chapter. So we're going from the verse 18. So if you have the book, no one has, it's on page 104. is needing. So
then the same thing out and the dermits linger yes they will know by cap such a dinner namki musik chu city ta kon manga so ombochi shes one so samlo lingewa tantubna pasho kono pa chimbon roji ona same lukang chu chando res same the lapo shu chena no pa chu de no pa chimbo chando res the same go salo tantang cap res derming answer no.
So verse 18 says, these reactions come from the mind being either steady or timid. Therefore, I should disregard harms close to me and not be affected by suffering. So as we were discussing in a previous class, many sufferings that come to our body, these physical sufferings that we have, depending on the way of thinking of someone or the state of mind of someone, these sufferings can be experienced either as small sufferings, if they can face these physical sufferings with a certain mindset, or if they have a very timid, as the word says here, very timid mindset, very timid mindset, then these even small physical sufferings can be experienced as very big sufferings.
So that so mi ketan wa china gang la peja na je dharma ziyat da pause ya te sablo tan tan re mung chlo ko sha chik pa pa to chik pa ra de ta sablo tan tan chik chik lo ko chimbo dal la pozo to ni chik te dharma dal chik kan la mu ki nin chi res so ta nga so no pa ka se yin na so so ket se pa ze ti no pa tel zo gom chini tin ri che to so na dinga nam go ma sik ti ta lu ta dinga le yong go re chi bu sochi gyana lulu kanga de leonguri ta sem gucha masam na kangi shu chong chang ro nge ma nge te peche ya nga
so as we were also discussing before in the case of certain we talked in the previous class about soldiers, right, that in the previous verses when they see wait 1 second. So there are people that when they face harm towards their own body, they don't fall. This doesn't disturb their peace of mind. They can keep the mind from falling into despair. And there are others that just by something very small happening, they fall into despair. And this is not a difference in their body. Their bodies can be harmed in the same way, so it's not a difference that their muscles are of a different quality or nothing like this. It's just a mental quality difference in mental state.
Lasa tinima pekani nga tso rigang jati ya cha tso shi ma cha tso shu cha tse ke tamba la ren rong du chuan yan ro tingi na ja kale ka kamba na la pa nang du mai on di tar sani tanda kale ka de sem de ke nan de sha jati te ke po chi ke tsap chi ma to te nga le dingar nyoa ga samlo te yo ma ro.
So for example, I have also experience that I think many of us have. The other day I went to a mountain, so to climb a mountain, and it took me 8 hours to do the whole walk. So going up, it was very hard. My legs were in pain. My whole body was in pain. Coming down, they were in pain. And not only during that day, also the next day I was also in pain, my body. But even though there was this physical discomfort, there was no thought in my mind of suffering. We don't see this experience as suffering. We still see this experience as a happy experience, even though the body is facing suffering.
So sem so jemse ya po chi sablo tanto na ligu dingat sem ko pa chese chini sem le kang me ki so do sem le kang me na tini control on ke ge me ani control ran ching ma la cha karo.
So that's why if the mind can find a good reason or can abide in a different reason, then this suffering, this discomfort of the body is not going to affect the mind so much. And if the mind cannot be affected by this physical discomfort, then the anger won't have its nourishment, won't have the food necessary to produce, to be born this anger, because we don't allow for our minds to become unhappy, and we keep our peace of mind even in the face of physical discomfort.
Last tani sholoka chego patrin kipi dingar chonyan semji rap tan nyom jas no more nam to yinge la yinge tsena no pa ma zedita son sang ar son kipa zedia ta di kabla na chu le nyam le cha su ja ngira na chu nyam le ya po che shin ke chi na li dingar chona ya sem ta ma ta nyok pa me pa sem lo lo ja to res nga so kar che re zedi nga so ma jab de go res ma jab sa ta kan sa chi ma res so so chi kndo cha ta jir da control la so pa nga so kati na wangir che de ni de la ma ja yo son sa kaptel kangi tan chegres kangi chegre ta ya ko so kangi tan de la ni le kat che yon son sa sem de kangi cheg mares li kangi yo na sem kangi cheg mares.
And on verse 19 it says, even when the wise are suffering, their minds remain very lucid and undefiled. For when war is being waged against disturbing emotions, much harm is caused at the times of battle. When good practitioners they're practicing, even though they meet with challenges, they are able to keep their minds peaceful, undisturbed, okay. And it says, Shantidevas says that when we are dealing with our afflictions, so when we're trying to purify our minds of these afflictions, we're bound to face with suffering. But those that are skillful in practicing like this, even though there is discomfort to their practice, they're facing challenges and suffering, they don't allow their minds to face this suffering. They're able to keep their minds in a peaceful state.
Also, tandi katil kadinga so pe jana, je constate ko pe mambo je jandu tatet so ngaso nabjin ton de ya nga so gencha ze ya chita am chopu ya la so pa tandi mambo je ndu jamba ya te san chu a tseri ya jin ro te zi ya po zo tomba so papa ko pa che tseje ya tandi tamanda ta so tsama so kangi chi lo sem go ma se na lil kangi ta ka te yore ti gon lo pesha ka se tangore tandi che ote so tangla che ni person roj so sem go tangla che te son na lil kangi ka sen che na ya kangi chembo mba ta na so tindi sa bo ha ko ore.
And we know that we have this capacity because His Holiness, he gives many examples here, and you can think of others also. He talks about some people in some cultures that they, for example, they put earrings. So you make a hole in your ear to put this earring, and also there are some cultures that you do it on your nose and other parts of the body. So you harm your body, but you see this as an adornment, so as something good. And because you see this as something good, even though you're facing this physical pain or discomfort, you don't care too much about it. You still think this is a good thing. And likewise, nowadays we have plastic surgery, for example, that people cut themselves. They spend so much money to do these surgeries. They go through so much suffering, but they can go through it okay because they know this is something they want. So because of their way of thinking, they don't care too much about these suffering aspects of the surgery or anything like this.
So tanda kyonjik tanda liu chupa ngoni ma je dans ya de no pa dans zo pa ya de peyon chez son peyon dans no pa tan tonto na ti che tanga zo le kale ko ti kale ka pamare sans le tanto gore ten chumjen ro to man thona tanda to so ye genchan ro chi ye samni te ya po ching thoni ta ko lig dingar zo to go yore ma to ya bo man thona zo to mari son sa zo pa gom na ki po yo ata control on na dik po yo ata so ya po chi mo zan to gore.
So that's why also Shantideva in the beginning of the chapter, he mentions the benefits of patience, how good the practice of patience is for us, and how bad is the practice of anger, so to speak. Because if we see the result of this, then it's much easier for us to have this positive mindset when facing challenges. If we know that through the practice of patience and through this practice we have a good result, and just like someone that makes a hole in their ears so that they can use earrings, we know that there is a purpose to all of this, and we can more easily carry on with the practice.
But like piercing your ear takes what, like 5 minutes, and the pain lasts like, let's say, 2 days. And a lot of this, like, for example, chronic disease, like I'm sure you've heard about people with migraines that have it every day for years. I think it just makes the mind also really weak because we cannot focus and concentrate.
No, really. Tarari. In that touch Canada Goro, Tanda, also take Pejat, Carizina, Dinger Zeata, so Chet Setona, Dinger to Dinger Chakamandu Zeateri. Then on the town to get the Gumanas at Nijina Denijina, so Chet Setoni, Tang Simja Dechina, Dikichesho the Tayans, Teli Goni Chaloko Chaki Kare Yaponzom Denaya, Semla de Kimena, Dingaran in Baton, Semla de Kiona, Chalonikan Kazenchina, Te Deki and Batete, Yapoching on the Chetona, putting at the Chaloko Dinga de Gerina Ere, Tona Yare, Caprio Mare.
Yeah, so this is true. Yes, this example in the book of the that His Holiness gives of these adornments, people make holes in the ear, and not suffering so much about it, not experiencing mental suffering, is just an example to show that we have the capacity, depending on our way of thinking, on our mental state, to support certain discomfort or sufferings, physical sufferings. To support this certain physical sufferings.
So the same the Deki Chontosona, Chaloko Dingariona, Kenshioma.
So this is used as an example to show that the mind is the chief in this experience. If the mind is able to keep its peace, then it's not such a big problem. If there are bad conditions around us, if we meet with certain bad conditions in our body, etc. And even if we have a good conditions in our body and a good health, etc., but our mind is not at peace, we're going to suffer the same way. So that's what the example is used for.
Is there from the difference of like a short-term pain and suffering that is like ending, or like, for example, your country is in a war for several years and you cannot escape the constant suffering that is around you. Like, is there a different way of patience? Do we deal differently with it? Laulit keto mutus inayata so komna la maju mutinga yo mayu so anaj kali gitenga ngazo semba ti pochi chetona chigren roata tanda pe chunchu chigle saulo tani ra amchopu atawa to zotona tili te chewala saulo tani te chewala saulo tani kali nyamlen chetomna yerimbol nyamlen chetona pe yapo yosare.
So this is similar to what Andrew said in the previous class. He said that, even though I know this, it's still very hard to do this. Even though I understand what you're saying, it's very hard to apply this. And that's the nature of the path. That's how it is. And Shantideva, he says in the book that by becoming used to dealing with the small sufferings, may I learn to get used to bigger sufferings. And he says that there is nothing that doesn't get easier through familiarization, through habituation. And these examples that we're saying right now of the earring, or even a surgery, they can be said to be small sufferings or small sufferings that we face. And of course, in life we can face much bigger sufferings. But his advice is to use these small sufferings so that we can be better prepared to deal with bigger sufferings. But of course, it won't always be easy to practice, to keep this happy mind.
But what to do when you're in the more tougher situation, like the war breaks out and you were not prepared for it? What would you recommend?
It is hard, yes. It is hard to say. If we don't have any habit, any preparation, it's very hard to deal with the big suffering. For example, if we never learned any martial arts, we never fought anyone, and we meet someone that has been learning martial arts for 20 years, and we go to fight this person, it's very hard to win, no?
Kotawashi Europe is a paper cable issue trapa, Yamlin Pachil 2 songs. Chikarchini day land, the Kojigon, Gomjani, low 2 day in 7.
The issue
Trapa, the Gomjan Basron and Chilas, Basron. They co candidate the Tasaya to Pali the chat, your remote color, and it's Kayo Maris, Pali the chat. Palita chat, Zakati na yore mato, gente kan yo marizen, desa rigal den low trick day in this. Nikia Karcheni day in Zend, Kinji Gomni day in Songdus. The Ninji Gomni day a song we cap coral pa muk corona pa Ninji wonders in trust on the consent of what song. The songs that so Gom sona, Chaloko, Zayat Palit the chatham Gichi Omar Desa, Gomja and Jit. Chirimbo de Derita, Gangit and Chego Maris, that in Nation Coso Poliat and Jimombo Chmoretris on this also, Kali Japtona, 10 day on US arrays, it in the song.
And to illustrate this power of habituation, there is a story that His Holiness said that once he went to a country, I think in Europe, I couldn't understand the country that Geshe said. Can you give us a check? Basru. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's in the West. And he met with a Christian monk, and this Christian monk had just stayed for 6 years in retreat in the mountains. And this monk told him that he had almost nothing to eat, but he had bread and tea. This he could eat, bread and tea. That's all he ate during the 6 years. And His Holiness asked him, "Okay, but why did you stay? Why did you stay for 6 years in the mountain?" And he said, "I was meditating on compassion." And His Holiness said that the moment he said compassion, shone forth from his eyes, like this light of compassion shine from this Christian monk's eyes. And I think this illustrates that the capacity of the human being, that if we have the preparation, if we have the habit or the familiarization, we can survive, keep this peace of mind in the most adverse conditions, such as this Christian priest or monk that survived in the mountain.
Dinga tamche chafsani jirdan la so janjomba teta gelche power te lama rola so payin zitati te son yungore aso tendi li tanchelo ko kange kasi chenayan te chet seni so sem de javala ko ni jirdan la so pandon do chata ni su jirdan le katir jirdan le jirdan go wanda matani te detona pau ngoni te teres da go sa to manor nga so chen de ton che chima chama lo wan je chini ka ngi che te ate je dans la opinion moyen son so tel ka te cha to na pau ngoni teres la maro la so pa te yang jong Geshe yang choro ne ma te
Verse 20. The victorious warriors are those who, having disregarded all suffering, vanquish the foes of hatred and so forth. Common warriors slay only corpses. So, what the meaning of this verse, even if it sounds funny, the meaning of this verse is that if we're able to face these sufferings that come to us in our lives and keep our peace of mind, not allow our minds to be controlled by anger. Here, anger is the main topic, but we could mention every affliction. So those that are able to go through life, face challenges, face sufferings, and keep this peace of mind that won't allow anger to arise in our minds, these are the real heroes. These are the heroes of the word. And it says, the common warriors slay only corpses, and this I explain later.
Lamaro la so pa izea tanga tsongoni saula tango sare jenga so mitami paru jaru cheni chat se ize pa shot se yores te se goya karrezi ke pa shot shasona gagndu shasona gana ke se go mar kor tende shikres taria koro yo mares ani ke se at ro se at shik pares shin ro ni chi ke ngel she jures te ting te zinda bondo nga so 대상 첨리 그전 손안을 뭐뭐지 그 선노 빠지지나 파카트 노 빠미지니 대침리 시제조다 점그 다시 제그레즈니 셰근도 뭐 참말 로 정도와 요래 침랑을 두자트 마도 코로고 카트 딜 카테 마자 대나지 가서야 미츠노 빠지 온디 카트 카테 마자니다 조파 공장나 파솔리 친구니 나포치 제고는 레겜젤 파시 제자나 레겜젤 코로타 제용거리 가서 tel khate chandro go yo mar chi pachi kyang ji sa lo thone pen tho sare sam
so common warriors slay only corpses. So before he said also that this anger, these afflictions, they are our real enemies. They cause problems in this life, in future lives. They are the real enemies. So that's why also they are the real heroes, those that can keep their peace of mind. And the common warriors, they slay only corpses. The meaning of this is that in war, if you're, let's say you're very angry at someone, you want to kill someone, so if this person dies, you would be happy, right? But this person is going to die anyway. This person is of the nature of dying. You don't need to, why do you need to kill this person if this person is going to die anyway? It's the same as if you're slaying a corpse, if you're killing something that's already dead, because this person is going to die anyway. That's the meaning of this sentence. And what else? And usually we also say something also that's another perspective that's possible to think about. Usually we say that when we have a problem with someone, a serious problem that makes us want to hurt this person, sometimes an advice that people give is to bring this person to court, to justice, right? And justice is going to deal with this person. So another way that we can think is that if someone harms you and you want to get revenge on this person, you feel this anger that you need to do something to this person, you shouldn't worry, because the law of karma is there, and this person is going to experience the results of their actions, of their bad intentions. So there's also no point in you getting revenge on this person. Yeah.
But like justice is exactly one of the points. Like what I see often is that people get more angry, not about their own pain, but about the pain of other people. Mm-hmm. You know, like for example, political activists. I know a lot of people that are angry about the politics in the US right now that have never been to the US ever in their life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So does he have an idea where this comes from, that we are angry on behalf of other people, even if it's not really touching us? And B, how to deal with it?
Ngato mimompo control development ayang control gigire pena tensão adi la domanion ning caché control tensão la sidin la control gigire control adi que sidin la control gigire dene kirang la sentu gigire karichine di yongire ngato la nga gigi nga Pedro la development ayang nga mi shempa ki chedong la control gigire karichine di yongire
te kale sablo tana te ngal tin rogo yochire geni so gap chota tan mante on di karsan ni nyen dang ni chopo tan se ajwa control kiemu pagish te kale she on di koro gap chota tan pa chota tendin tun yo mare sonza te control ngere koro gap chota ta tan tun de yo na control ng mare sonza te gap chota ma gap chota tan de dai chop ro chinzen ro ja ta dai chop se ajwa
Jadan jai chok.
Paso magasa te jago chonzen ni gap chop te tata ke chema sons te control line mo te tara ngalnde yo kiresam.
I think that if we think carefully, there is a relationship to ourselves, either through some people that we like, so some people that we sympathize with, so there's someone harming someone that we sympathize, so there is a connection to ourselves, or if it's about someone that we do not like, and these people are being benefited, they're being helped. It's also in connection to, indirectly, it is in connection to ourselves.
Penachi koro lombantele kaponda wachi yona keti shole yapo chere seti so anyeng chole savlo tani kolo kaponda chi keti shole dupo chere seti penangand chi na jankam rawachi pejana chi Europe jankam farasana chi na pega poyona ke farasale yapo chi marziti na gasatale yapo machi so ngazik bazayungur.
For example, just one hypothesis. Let's say I like France very much, and then I hear that one president of some countries doesn't like France, and they want to harm France somehow. So this can make me be angry at this person because I like France, and this person doesn't like France, and it's going to harm something I like.
Yeah,
in a way, it's also related to myself.
But I see a lot of people that have more anger for other people, and they create a lot of negativity with it because they're constantly angry because you find always things in the world that feel unjust for us. So I was reflecting before on this idea of injustice, who's deciding what is just and stuff. And also people say if we are not angry about, for example, the president of the US, he will just continue with the bad things he's doing, and we can't, we don't stop him. So even if he gets justice maybe in a future life from karma, how can we stop now the suffering of all the people?
Okay, I understand. I'm just searching how to say injustice here. The tick thing Japanische, na yanım gün injustice ya de, benim gün zambuling la. Mirik mamboyere, mirik kaşe, mirik şempala, no paçe göre, no penalty kamçang, popano şey. Den sam mi mambo con gingo şipa mambo konso di gengi konso gegere. Kan na den sam zambuling la. Kimse mamboyere, ne mamboyere, ne kimse mamboyere kiran kontrol ge doyana kiran kimse mamboyere. Ina yang mi de tso yang konso gimsen karina ngatso kontrol magiana. Ani pena gamina shin. Gana konso kanjo macam chegire. Kan konsola ngatso pena jinda salotona o tsinchima konsole de nyapadi jebu yongire. Ni ngatso kayang chegio mare. Ni ngatso nyapadu konsola control gegere konso jinda chegire. Nenenti kanjas kirangi santu to kari.
Control
injustice ya de ni zambulingi ne tula nato control gegere pena popala no bachegere ni control ni gegere injustice de ngaso tata zogore
ni part dal khate chagore zedroa ta control za gosal za gore zamani sal za te insarwa
ina ya dala kati chegore ne pena popala ropa chegore ni popa mase mirik mombo zambulingi mirik mombo yore ngaso ropa chegore ni chojing ne ropa chegore choj shempane
jambal no
Jambala? No,
pazago re tate su ne nga chunjik teng sablo tang chena korozea ta re ta ran re ina ta su Geshe jawala kyonchik nal chide gora teche ran chena Geshe jawala te parche che yo mar nga so nakyo kushirabla teni ro amil pento kaze che tomna ro pasho Kyopa dikcha che gona te kaze ngoktomna nakyo kushirabla teni ngokto amang chadang monsam gwan masho wa chi tawshi che gore zeni te konsam chokwa na gelap cha gundura nga so ti shol chi che tona te yasho de sarete matona ta nga so dal chadang kia ta chapa kia nyel chapa kia dal dang kia te ketang ke chen so gon ro ta ran re
Yeah, the way that the word works is exactly like this, dealing with things through anger, with these problems of injustice. Here in the text we're studying, more related to this practice of Shantideva, the advice, the way of practicing is not using attachment and anger and these afflictions to motivate our actions, and doing things through wisdom. So in a way, fighting injustice through wisdom and not through the use of anger. That's usually what His Holiness the Dalai Lama also says about this dealing with injustice in the world. But the way that most people that have anger and attachment in their life, the way most people deal with this is by having anger towards the people that are oppressing other people, right? Which is hard not to have, but yeah, the recommendation, the advice is to try to replace this anger with wisdom.
Tani inaya taksu su the karche boris ina nemanga so kyonjili ngapa na yisone chipsini.
So the important thing to do that we discussed during the 5th chapter.
So the kare tsikti alol romas. Semcha masonam kwashisi.
No, call it.
Ligo ngapa sholoka chuni patrish. Semcha masonam kwasha teta jomki yomolo choi semda shikshana tati tamcha chomba yins. Liu ngapa sholoka chuni pat. Te certain tamcha koyo chasam bat koni lechi. Atso ketani zambule le tenji nyocha mombo shuji yor. Nyocha mombo shuji yo sonza atso te pa jinja tantoya te pachi zawa nini yonga yomar. Sonza nyamlim pachi chena soso sem jinja tantoya te taran res zopa gomzea te soso sem jinja tanya te remungu pancho ko nyocha jinja tanya te mares semcha masonam kwa jizetis. Mandra che nyokta mandra lani ge semchen de nanka na je kan de so zana so te michi ge jin jok tan to za wa ni yo ma ris kan tup chi ta che ro yana yo su te so sem ge jin jok tan to ya te mo ni ton so sem ge jin jok tan to te so le ni pa yo res ma che nge che na yo re son sa so che tup che na che ya ni pa yo res sapon ro te yo de che ma che so la pare zo pa chuni ma gom na sem katina choni de dero kosma atso so sem rolo cheat nga sole ni ba yores zamuleng ge nyokta tsama jinjok ta nga sole ni ba yo mares sonza so sem jinjok mata ni jajana tare mang sem jinjok ta ni so zo pa yak po gom di nyamle yak po china tende so sem jinjok ta to ta so ni ba yores pa jolin yo ta to ni ba yo mare la or
Yeah, so in verse 12 of the 5th chapter on guarding mindfulness and alertness, Shantideva says that unruly beings are as unlimited as space. They cannot possibly all be overcome, but if I overcome thoughts of anger alone, this will be equivalent to vanquishing all foes. So when we think about all the present situations of the world and future and past situations of the world, we know that it's unlimited. There's always many problems happening. There's always many bad things happening in the world. And if we have the power to stop them, if we have the power to deal with them, it's good. We do the most that we can. But the thing is that we cannot completely solve all the problems that exist in the world. But we do have the capacity of making our minds peaceful, of not allowing anger in our mental continuum. We have this power of dealing with this anger that we have here. So the advice given is instead of trying to solve everything and not keep this peace of mind, not deal with your own anger, it's better to deal with your own anger, where you have more capacity to act, to change something.
Dinner touch capsan Najerdan las or Janjum Bas, Teta Japo, Tenhama Rotan Tendros, Shayon Dinger Yotin, Stuvi Chapas Herorches, Koa Palas Nyanchiki, Diglan Zem Shan, Agela Gaz, Titandi, Dinger Leon, Japani co Dinger Zeat, Jun Redan Colion, Yonechi or Reservoir. Dinger Zeat, Miseat, Kangin Rovachin Cheon, the Narger Zeat, Ranjing Chandor Rezend. Dengar saya tercertain ko Jonjeta, tele Yonden Yores, Yondech, Penangasol, Kangin Row, Shichimon Chetinich, Niger Zet, Rajing Chandor, Jovi Chapaseo Chase, and I know you can me Matesa, Testing at Yachebo Yorita, Shaya for Roji, carry an acting. Then Chimana Kangin Cheondi, Mitsama Ropal Tenin, Denamatonga, Sharon, Pena. Ngal share mi so rora mena nga share mengang le nyamani som chikan le komum bom gini ro so ngal kombo chita bom chita chini tsama tsama na ngarola te ma to mundu ina nyamani som chikan bom ni som gini ro so mi tsama rora chini nga na sati na ni mengang le lo ni tsa ya ji ma ji bom som chala sing ro Sumchu. Mi tsama roram chini nga ya sok kyab jari cha kyang dal mi nisha sumchu cha jari mi ri li cha chi do ta ti do chi do cha ten chi mi zo cha to zon mi nisha sumchu se ga yon ha ten ri kyang chini mi kin zon dal ma tin nga so pe chu do trauma na jare sha lam san sha cho So
verse 21 says, furthermore, suffering has good qualities. Through being disheartened with it, arrogance is dispelled. Compassion arises for those in cyclic existence, evil is shunned, and joy is found in virtue. So suffering usually we see as a bad thing, and it has bad qualities, of course, bad aspects to it, but it also has good qualities. For example, when we go through a very hard time, when we go through a period of great suffering, naturally our arrogance or pride goes down, diminishes our arrogance. And I have experience with this. Before, I used to be more proud or more arrogant, I can say, because I was seen as someone that was good in my studies, so I could argue about so many things. So I had arrogance, but I had a very serious disease a few years ago, and during this disease, so many people had to help me. I had to ask for help for so many people, and if they hadn't helped me, I would have died. For example, once I stayed for 2 days in the hospital, and the cost of this was 120,000 rupees. And I didn't have this money. So if people hadn't got together to give me this money, I would have died. And the cost of all the treatment at this time was 3 million rupees. So that's around 30 lakhs. Yeah, 30 lakhs rupees. It's a lot of money. And of course I didn't have any of this, so many people had to help me and give me money so that I could get this treatment. And I lost so much blood that I think 20 or 30 people had to give me their blood. Otherwise I would have died also. So this made me reflect and think that without society, without the help of others, I am so small. We are so small. We're like a little ant walking on the ground. It's killed so easily. So easy for us to die if we don't have others.
Do you actually think, like he was just talking about getting help from other people, and a lot of people never ask for help. They rather deal with their suffering alone. Does he personally think that if we would ask for help more, that would decrease our anger and our suffering?
If we ask for help more, this would decrease
like
our anger, suffering, or pride? Anger or suffering?
Arrogance and pride is not so important, but when we would ask for more help, is this likely to decrease our anger? Because I have the feeling, because we don't ask for help, it's like piling up the suffering, and then we get more angry and more agitated.
Okay. Kung shipamon po konsola dungyo yuna yang kangyo jigyuna yang mission pala rupa chero chis lab yumare. Tene kirangi sempala ngatso mission pala rupa chero chis lamna ngatso gi dungyo dang ngatso gi kontro. Kari ma chagyore 저기 동료들한테 그래서 나 공기 싶으면 보고 동료였나요? 아니 공기 샘플한테 동료들 치료 저기래.
다 미잠발 지람나요 소소 셈바키 보여 말어 데르웨. ropa marawarese o ropa cheso
marawamare tinayong kanso ropa yonayong kanso ngala ropa chero no kanso labgyomare itene ti kingi kanso gitongyo chero jogere tene kanso ngatso namgyo ngatso mission pala ngala ropa chero no mang alamna kireng sapla ngatso dongyo chungwa nyongyore pe control nyuma yang tang
kashi yang mijambal ropa cheni mijambal ropa chi cheyon di yang so so lnjon tang me san ro chi le sablo tang di yang sem shi shu chang ni de chen ye jing do danga de jobo shu chi de sha mijambal ropa le ting go san ten sam go ma re sam nga so kin so ze ya de ten de cha de kaza genge yas so nga so kala porba kanza wal mu haja mombo chi le tena ma to nga so rato yo mari ze so sa kin so ze ya de so kang chevi kable kin so lo pa tengo gore tena ya yo ya kang so ko pa pe to wa ni pa yo na yo chitop kanto ko so trobo inari moshi pa inari mashi pa inari so pen to che to ya chi yo na kanto to chi chi so kangin chevi kable ngale ropa chini zu ngoshi ba ta mishi bandram mandra leso men kana de kanji koi mishi jamba da so ko ni samsam ne cha che izini tenji le yong do te yong di tinga so sama pa sa tenji chi la ropa chena kinzo ze ya de ya po cha kharetan
yin kino men kana kari chung sam ye
mi korong e pango mishi ne tenzo le yong no jol ke cha che yong si ne kol jerochi la yo mare ne ko mo koron shingi yo mare tenji le yong do ko so tenji kesha ko ni le yong jira inji popa da re shama so popa da re ta ko kanji ko ina tenji le yong ni ma so sama so kanit pa she sati ropa che thoni to so che yong gore che matum na kol atsi ja kwa yo mara tenji chena chiki le tengo ya to ni pa ke chembor mate na ta kina je nga so ni pa chinju shiu.
Yeah, so many people, it's easy for us to, when we have to ask for help or when we do ask for help, that we feel very small, that we feel that, I'm such a bad person, or I'm so weak, like I cannot do things for myself and I need to rely on others. So it's possible that this can make us a bit depressed, can be hard on us. I think, of course, there is no reason to feel like this, because understanding that our nature is to be dependent on others. We need others for so many things, like Geshe in a previous class said here at Shide, that even for us to use 1 cup to drink our water, how many people are involved in this to make this cup, to get this water here, for example. So we're always getting help from many people, in a sense. So it's better, if we have suffering, it's better for us to rely on others. And also when we don't have sufferings, or we don't have problems, we can be there for others as much as we can. Yeah, when I was in the hospital, some people that I don't know them, but they came to me when I was there and they said, "Oh, I'm going to donate blood to you." I don't know how they got to know this, but even without me asking, they came and they wanted to help.
As a running co-op, Nichi, the Panzer Shagiva Gata Sheni, Shajaka, the Nichi Yonte Jamba Chilcarioris and the Piaposalo Dinarka Yonte, Dinarka Niji Jengreze war. Name join on Jengret and the Carlos to Nichi. Niji Shildon, so Niji they at the Pasho, Dinart and Ton on the Niji Kildoa. Dinar message Niji Marinali, Kivan the Sound calling Niji Sangmando, Socially Duan and the Lacani, Sons are Pasho. That's also with Dinar Sablo, Tondon in the Tioris, and the Pasho Semcha Kata kind of Kolkang in the Tioris. Zaya Kang in Toya, Kang in Nasa, Kang in the Karakar, Jansokonoshi, Kang in Chikari, Kang in Momboyor, someone around you can Nijit and Jayong, Kang in Tel Sanoya Poton. Ani songs I they Nijig the children. Dinar Kiyon de Cheshire the Teshi do. Dinar Kiyon de Chigon. And
the biggest other good quality of suffering is that it helps us to feel compassion, because we develop our compassion when we are more aware of the sufferings of others. So through our own experience of suffering, this brings indirectly the development of compassion in ourselves. It also brings a renunciation, which is another thing to cultivate in the path. But here it talks about compassion. When we experience our suffering and then we look at other people and we identify, or we can see they also have sufferings, we become more aware of their experiences of suffering, and we can use this to develop our compassion. So that's another good quality of suffering.
Teni tanda dupan zem shankela gazio te jayon also dingar tel malkang che dia te khondi dingar ke jet dupali chongo yo pa ko ti dupa me chewalan zem gares dingar mayon wa de ki yon ata gewa yin ba ko ala tenita teach la gewa chewa ta dupalen zemba yondende on dingar le teni yongo yores penandi machi sosol kang chenare jambal kang chenare kanget dupali chonre ze ondita o ta dupa cheam ma to kang yongo du samnion telayam ingres.
And also another benefit is that it makes us more aware to the cause of suffering. So we are experiencing the suffering. We know that this gives a lot of problems to ourselves, to other people. And thinking about the cause of this suffering, which is said to be, here it says evil, or it can also be translated as misdeeds or bad actions, negative actions. And knowing that this experience of suffering comes because of these negative actions, negative emotions, we are more motivated to disengage from this, to not give rise to negative emotions and negative actions. And knowing that happiness is brought by positive actions, we are more motivated also to engage in this positive actions that will bring us happiness. That's another benefit of suffering. I think today that's it. If anyone has any question.
I still have a full list.
You can ask.
Like especially about the last thing he said, with the benefits that we develop more compassion for the suffering of others. This goes back to the question I had before, because when I look more at the suffering of other people, I get more upset that these people suffer, and then this idea of righteous anger comes up, and like I suffer more when I'm aware of the suffering of everyone and that I'm unable to help them. Okay,
understand it. Righteous anger. Yeah. Ni kira mama ke ngasola dunya yona di ningje ge la gen chagere da. Ina yong nam yunga mi shimpa gi dunya la sono tona. Damponga gyoa. Gyoa gegere. Ani gyoa de la tene yang kontro yang gegere. control yang gigere ni mission pa para mission pa ding nge drogmo no pa chegere ne control yang gigere ne tona nga mission pa la mission pa ki dongya la som tona nge dongya chiru
so dingar nal zanro re ta te control tan jengare oni ja nyeng chok dingar ta son dong di dingar ki jalong ki ken ta sol sablo ta yona control langare ta te control la ya ta tan di wol ma yung du su ta sablo ta te pa sho ko dingar nyon de sa pa sho lo no pa che de ni ta so chama tan da mo ge wa gen che wa yin ba la sablo ta tam na pe
Yeah, so it's true. When we think about people that are harming someone that we love or that we like, for example, and we think of the suffering that our loved one or our friend is going through because of these conditions, it becomes also a condition for our anger, for this righteous anger. So it comes later in the text, but a good way of thinking about this is when we think about these situations that someone is being harmed, someone is suffering, and someone is harming, or someone is doing something bad for the person we love, both the suffering of the person we love and the harm that the other person is causing is a product, is a result of this non-virtue, is only exists because of the gathering together of these conditions. I think it's very beneficial to think like this.
Koso tsama semgo natsa yo sa chire semgo natsa chichimbo yo sa nga sa kakayo mar ko semgo natsa yo rezegora te chibari nga so ndo cha ta control to so nga so rama sawa ni me pa che gore so sa tinin do chi sawlu ta na nga so zopa go al pento kore kare ze tin chunyam le ze ad so ja ta chibari so go semla ke son chimbo ti shol sawlu ta na control la so pa manja ya ta sem ki po yo ai na ti shol sawlu ta gore chi chol gem sen du sam ni ta control bar chi na kyon rakre.
Yeah, so in order not to for this not to become a condition for anger, we think, for example, of we think from another perspective. We can say, for example, someone that's causing suffering, someone that's acting in a negative way. We think that this person is being motivated by either attachment or ignorance or anger. So all conditions, all emotions, mental states that are beyond the independence or freedom of this person. Basically, in simple words, it's like this person has a mental disease. This person is sick, is suffering from this sickness, and therefore acts in this way. Either the person causing suffering to someone else, etc. So thinking like this, it's beneficial for us not to be angry at the person. And during the practice of Dharma, there are many reasonings that we use. We think in many different ways, and we think in different ways in order to deal with a certain emotion. So, for example, if thinking in this direction is giving us anger, is causing us to feel anger, we choose to look in a different way. For example, in this way that he just mentioned. And if we want to give rise to compassion or something else, then we think in another way. So we're always controlling what we're thinking, depending on what we want to cultivate at the time. Yes, it makes sense.
It makes sense, but it doesn't sound like an easy thing to do, to just switch your way of. It's a bit related to the question I asked to Geshe recently about how to deal with the suffering that we see in other people in a useful way without getting angry or depressed or sad ourselves or feel helpless. So what can we do instead when we pay so much attention to the suffering? And then I think about all the other people that have worse suffering, So then it's like sometimes like overwhelming this feeling that I should help them, but I cannot, and you know what I mean?
Con la tua giri con ha pagire na yan nang di tablam di yon dang an da sam tong di kapire da con ha pagire na yan ga kapire con ma con Geshe gyat na con ji tang sang con la les sang no sais pas mon pere do mon pere con so donc pe mon pere de con donc de ça ma con la pa shegere ina yan con so la gachagar o pachetu biomare de yan con samlat con so ki donc la son tona ani yan mi shempa ki donc la son tona bo donc dile donc chewa mon pere tambulina ani con tes gyoa shimchabu gegere con tes pena Maro pachetu gimeli ne pas mengu zeugyre de ne con di giochi che galzano con di giocare in cargesena nie de ganjas chanyam chegre in consolero pachego gyo na yon consegui dungala sonotona kitis dunga gegere grano consolero pachetu gime rewa mingu
re tate Anzo ropa cheze na da chito konto ta chereta kapon shuchi re konsam chako sonshu na songdo ta na so tenri pa semja dinga mom ton ta kancha na asani dia to ma to na so chi tabshi mundo sini tenri songdo ta kol chi kyamji jin ke ta so wombo jon chen ra ta tenri mombo yon ni kol kyamji ja tenri mombo leng du kangi che ta kancha sam kol kyamji ja Consent challenge kayonita kole jamjing no rochi tin wombo kamba menjo la pa menjo tin dingar che shuchi tongus ta ina kol tabshin zin chimandus ta kantra samni dia ma to ta tabshin mandus ta tis kabla consent choten de soana jinga so ninje ya pochi ko do cha ta controller so wan mendo sa sam do chi che tin di sablo ta na chi ma to tabshi chi yo mar tin ta soana tin di sem ga kangi ta tin chimbo yo sa ta chola tin di chi lapta Semgo kange chembo cheondi kange nyonke nga ta kawandu samni te yinchi menchi savlo tana tu te penken chiri
Ligori puchi
ta datsi tandero kange nga kange chete nga shuchi na deva nga ta kawandu samni nanke ni tsawa chembo che de amse chi tsawa chembo che kange nyonde ni nga ta kawandu samni tsitanchi wa amji so datsi tanchi wa Skeva samni chema
Ligori puchi con so pasum
Tata soma son da ngaro te no
yeah, there is His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Wait, I'm trying to remember the first thing he said. Yeah, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Many people come to him, usually, and many people have come to him in the past also. And there's so many problems, so many things to do. People would come without. They don't have a leg, they don't have an arm, and they come like, please fix this. They expect a miracle also from him. And he says he feels so sad seeing all of this suffering, and he cannot do anything. He cannot do everything that people ask him to do. And that the only thing to do is to try to help and cultivate compassion and keep our minds from anger and attachment from this. So to keep this peace of mind, basically, to keep ourselves from these disturbing emotions. These are very important things that we need to do. And I think that something that's beneficial when someone is going through a hard suffering is to try to find this I that is suffering. So this I that is going through so much suffering in this life, and where is it located? I think this search is beneficial. Yeah. Maybe we stop here.
Mari.
Yeah. Come on,